Hey, how's it going? Steven here. So today we're looking at the Backfire M8 electric scooter. Who is Backfire? That's a great question. Backfire makes high-performance electric skateboards like this one. This one has a lot of torque. It's even faster than most electric scooters at this price level. It can go up to 32 miles per hour and can go up to 20 miles per hour in just 2 seconds. It is extremely fast and uses a gearbox drive. So Backfire kind of takes all of their knowledge with building high-performance electric skateboards, and they have built their own electric scooter. Look at that. This is a high-performance electric scooter built by an electric skateboard company, and I can't wait to try their first shot at electric scooters. Let's jump into it. The most standout feature to me is that this scooter uses Samsung batteries. It uses Samsung 50 GB21700 cells. Usually scooter companies hide the type of cells that they're using, especially for scooters under $1,000 because they used really cheap cells. Backfire came out swinging with Samsung cells under $800. That is pretty wild. These are really high discharge cells, low voltage sag, long charge cycle with smart BMS, and they're using electric skateboard controllers. They're Hobbywing 13S FOC ESCs, which makes it incredibly powerful and also smooth as well. And what is really cool is that it offers GPS service. This is something that you can enable on a scooter with a separate app, so you can see directions, telemetry data, and also track where your scooter is at all times, which is incredibly cool for something that is under $800. This scooter also advertises a top speed of 34 miles per hour, which I can consistently hit at any battery capacity. Even when I'm at 50% battery, I can still hit 34 miles per hour. Hey, how's it going? So the Backfire M8 actually has a GPS installed. This GPS module is free for the first year, and I think it's super worth it because it gives you a lot of telemetry data that I didn't even know I need and wanted to see until I actually have it. So the first thing that you need to do is to sign up using the IMEI code that they give you and then log into an app. This app is called What's GPS. So click on that, and then it's going to show you the location of your vehicle, and it's pretty darn accurate. Now what we're going to do is to look at other type of things that you can do. Number one is tracking. You can just see where it is and you can click track. You can use Google Maps and it's going to show you exactly where it is, exactly how to walk up to your unit. So if you ever lose your electric scooter, it's going to show you exactly how to walk up to how to find your electric scooter at any time. So I think that is super important. And then what they have is a playback. Basically, it shows you how much you have ridden every single day of the year. So you can kind of keep track of when your scooter was used, exactly down to the second when your scooter is actually ridden. There's also a lot of commands that you can do, such as rapid acceleration alert, collision alert, sharp turn alert. There's different types of parameters that you can choose. Super crazy, vibration alert, and then you can do a geofence. You can say like, hey, I want to add a geofence around a certain area, and your scooter will only be able to work within a certain geo-fenced radius. And then there's a whole me section. This section gives you all kinds of telemetry data. Total mileage, it gives you statistics on your total mileage, how many times you have ridden. There's a whole alert section about how many alerts you get, what kind of alerts. There's a whole mileage section, how much you have ridden per day, how much your scooter has moved per day, and it's just really fun information to look at. And of course, parking details, like this is like your parking duration, when you park somewhere and how long did you park it for, which I think is super interesting as well. And then there's a voltage meter. This basically checks your voltage. Basically, it tells you how much battery you have left. You can look at the statistics of your battery and voltage and all that stuff. Overall, I think it's really cool. It saves all kinds of telemetry data about your scooter, including alerts. All right, we're gonna do the lumens lux test of the brightness of the front headlight. And this is lux meter. Let's go. So it's roughly about 705 lux. This headlight isn't super bright. I think the brightest I've seen is roughly around 2000 lux, and this is roughly around 700. And with the precision being kind of low to the ground, I would say this is a great light for medium to low speed, and it's also a great light to be seen with, but it's not a super bright light. I think for a $799 scooter, it's absolutely fine. It also has ambient lights here and a rear light over here. The brakes, it will blink and it's quite bright. The turn signals are pretty good as well. Even if you wear gloves right here, you can see the turn signal. The only issue is that there is only a rear turn signal. There are no turn signals in the front. Okay, it's time to weigh in the scooter. Let's see how much it weighs. Oh! The weight comes in at 68.1 pounds. Not too shabby for a mid-range scooter. Alright, it's time to test the motor noise level. I'm going to start off the scooter at its highest speed, and we're going to see how loud the motors are. 2, 1, go. 59 to 60. Wow, that is really quiet. This is the quietest motors I've ever heard. Nice job, Backfire. Okay, it's time to do some measurements. Handlebar length, 24.5 inches. It has 3 slots for different heights. This is the lowest one, and that's the highest one. And I'm in the middle right now. So we're gonna measure each position. Right now in the middle, 46 inches at the top of the handlebar. We're gonna raise it up. This is the highest spot, and we're at 47.4 inches. Then we're gonna drop it to the lowest spot. This is at 43 inches. The length of the deck, 18 inches. If including the kicktail, we're talking about 22 inches. The width of the deck, 9.5 inches. And of course, the ground clearance is roughly about 4.5 inches. The stem is roughly at a 10-degree slant. The dashboard is absolutely huge and super bright during the day, so it's incredibly easy to see while you're riding. The brakes are mechanical disc brakes. They're not hydraulic disc brakes. They feel slightly mushier than other mechanical brakes that I've had. It's still very much usable. The grip is very comfortable, there's no weird movement. The handlebar is very grippy, I like the texture on it. The throttle is linear and responsive. Of course, this is a sports scooter, so you can do a wheelie if you wanted to. And of course, the front brake is on the left side, so you can snap it to bring the head down if you ever do go into a wheelie. Let's take a look at the dashboard first. This button, if you click the light button, the light comes on and off. You get the plus and minus buttons to change the sport mode. There's only 3 modes, Eco, D, and then Sport. Sport is the fastest. And then you can click this button to change the telemetry data. And then you have this button, that's the ambient light. Clicking it once will turn on and off the ambient light. And of course, you have the power button to turn the device on and off. Next, what we have is this, a faucet turning style lock for the stem. It's very easy to use. Now that we have brought this whole mechanism out, you just pull this little lever. Yep, you just pull this lever and it folds. I think the stem is too short right now. You definitely do need to extend the stem to at least the middle so that you can actually lock it in. And once you lock it in, you can take the scooter anywhere you want. Let me unfold this. It's a very quick process to lock and unlock the stem with this scooter. The scooter does come with 2 NFC tags. They're not binded to the scooter when you first get them, but you could bind them if you wanted to for extra security and extra convenience, of course. There is a USB charger right here. This is USB-C. Of course, if you have a phone on your dashboard, you can definitely charge that with this extra charger. One of the things I like about the handlebar is that it's the universal type of handlebar, which means you can take it out and put on like a Warp 9 handlebar if you wanted to. It's highly swappable and customizable. Connected to Draggy, satellite is uplinking. We're in mode S, the fastest mode with the acceleration turned all the way to the top, and we're in dual wheel drive. 3, 2, 1, go. Very smooth linear start, linear ramp up, still accelerating, 30 miles per hour, 31, 32, 33, very good continuous ramp up, 34, 35, braking, 36. Alright, so we did 0 to 10 in 1.84, 0 to 20 in 5.3, and then 0 to 30 in 12.72. 1/8 of a mile in 18.39. $800 scooter. This is actually pretty darn good. Let's go again. 3, 2, 1, go. $24, $26, $30, 31, 32, 33, 34. Brake. Oh. 0 to 10 in 1.67, 0 to 20 in 5.16, and 0 to 30 in 15.37. 1/8 of a mile in 18.99 seconds. And this is all verified completely on flat grounds. And we're gonna go to the top speed testing place. Let's go. So Backfire makes high performance electric skateboards. And I do have quite a few of their skateboards. They make some really great stuff. And I'm pretty happy to see that they're venturing out into the electric scooter space, which is good to see because they're going to be able to bring that technology that they learned from making high performance electric skateboards into the world of e-scooters. Okay, we're going to do top speed run. This starts out flat, but it's going to be a 2 to 3% incline as we get to the tail end of it. I've ridden 3 miles already, so it's definitely not at 100%. It's probably somewhere around like 90% battery. 3, 2, 1, go. Pretty nice. Not an insane amount of torque, but this torque continues steadily into the mid-range and into the high range. So we're at 28 miles per hour, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. We're going up onto a 3% incline now. And it's still maintaining that 34% top speed, 34 miles per hour top speed. All right, I don't think it's gonna go any faster, but it's very impressive that it's holding on to 34 miles per hour. 2, 1, go. $30 miles per hour, 33, 35, 36, 37, 37. Doesn't go any faster. It's probably speed locked to 37. We're at 1% decline. We're still at 37. The ground is flat now. Still maintaining at 37. Cool. So it's able to hit 37 miles per hour. With a slight help. I'm pretty sure if you're on complete flat ground, if you give it enough time, it's going to accelerate to 37 miles per hour. But however, if you are on grounds that's not completely flat, and if you weigh 200 pounds, the highest speed that I've seen is around 34 to 35 miles per hour. Cool. The suspension doesn't have a lot of travel. It's more of a street suspension. It's very stiff. You almost don't feel it at all. It doesn't give you the pogo stick feel. It doesn't bounce you around. But on streets with a lot of ups and downs and a lot of bumps, it actually feels pretty darn good. Okay, off-road time. Lots of torque, lots of power. It grabs the ground just right. Oh, bounces over these big rocks, no problem. I'm going at roughly 17 to 18 miles per hour, and it's fantastic. Definitely enough to do off-road. The suspension is okay. I wouldn't say it's the greatest suspension for off-road. This is more built for on-road use. But if you're in a pinch, this is a lot more than okay. Okay, big slope time, big slope time. Let's go. Yes. Very easily took that. All right, we're gonna do the braking test right now. See the cones on the ground? We're gonna drive up to the cone at 15 miles per hour, and then I'm gonna slam on my brakes and see how far it takes me to stop. I'm gonna do it 3 times and see where we end up. All right, let's go. This is the starting cone. And then all 3 times we ended up somewhere here. So I'm just going to say like about here. And the average braking distance is 8 feet 11 inches. So almost 9 feet. That is exceptional braking distance, guys. That's very good. One of my favorite things about this electric scooter is the adjustable handlebars. A lot of times when I want to ride aggressively, I do want to lean over the handlebars. Being able to push the handlebar down and with a locking position like this, it's highly important for performance scooters. The second thing that I really like about this electric scooter is the linear acceleration curve. It's very smooth at the low end, no weird wheel spins, yet it still accelerates steadily even into 30 miles per hour and higher, which is highly respectable considering a lot of scooters that market high top speeds do not actually reach it. And number 3, my favorite thing about this electric scooter is the patented dual shock springs. These feel kind of stiff for off-road, but on the road it is extremely stable at high speeds, yet it still dampens quite a bit of vibration. This is highly tuned for like a race feel. So when you're turning, you don't feel the front end of the scooter sink in. You don't feel like a pogo stick bouncing around. This is definitely tuned very well. And the best thing about this scooter is that Backfire already is established across the United States, Europe, and around the world with service centers and warranty support. So that means if you buy this scooter, unlike other no-name brands, you get local help. And as a Backfire electric skateboard owner, I can vouch for them. They're one of the best, most trusted brands in electric skateboarding, and I think for electric scooters, that is not going to be any different. And as for range, I was able to get roughly 20 miles. I am a 200-pound person, so I'm quite heavy, and I've been traveling at its top speed, close to 30 miles per hour on flat grounds. With some slight elevation variances, I was able to get 20 miles, which I think is quite impressive. I have not experienced voltage sack until like the very 10 to 5% of the battery capacity, which I think is very impressive as well. Guys, Backfire came out swinging into the mid-range electric scooter market with so much tech, so much good value. If I were to get a scooter at around $800, this is actually what I would buy. At this price point, it is really difficult to pick out a problem with this electric scooter, but if I have to nitpick, here are 3 cons that I think Backfire can iterate and improve on. Number 1 is the positioning of the headlight. The headlight is all the way at the bottom. I just don't like that. I think all scooters should have the headlights up top. You want the light to throw as far as possible, and also in putting the light up top will help with visibility to be seen as well. The second thing is the kickstand. I think the angle of the kickstand is super aggressive. The scooter doesn't have that much torque to take advantage of such a steep kicktail. Kicktail should be flatter in terms of its angle so that you have more standing space rather than such an aggressive kicktail. And number 3, I think they should have included turn signals in the front as well. It is just kind of weird not having turn signals in the front, and the scooter is more positioned as a commuter scooter. It's meant to be used on the road, on the street, and not having turn signals visible in the front is just a little bit weird. So far, I'm very happy with this scooter. I think the price that they're asking for, I think was $799. This scooter is an absolute steal. It's got very spacious deck, pretty aggressive kicktail, overall great power output. Even if you're in the most powerful mode, the S mode, and you can still navigate a super crowded street or sidewalk without lowering your gear or without looking super jerky like an idiot. I think Backfire knocked it out of the park.